Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. It is a rainy day today at the homestead, so I'm not getting a whole lot done outside, but I have been working on my vertical pieces for the solar rack. What I did was I mentioned in an earlier video that I wanted at least 5 inches down from the top of each vertical piece, so I can fit my hand under to have enough room to work underneath the solar panel, just barely. I figured I was looking at it again with the vertical piece that takes up another 1 inch space, and obviously that only gives me 4 inches. So I made everything now 6 inches here. So the 6-inch mark is where the roof line will be when this thing's attached, and then I'll lose 1 inch when the solar panel goes on. But I should have enough room to, move a screwdriver in there, I hope. So hopefully the 6-inch mark is enough. We'll see what I'm doing here. Anyway, so it's mounted onto the wall like this. So the flat ends where my hand is, that's mounted up against the wall. This mark is right flush with the top of the roof of the tiny house, right? And so this section here is sticking up from that line up. So today I want to pre-drill some holes for the bolts that I showed in an earlier video. So in order to do that, I got to kind of set this up, and I got to zoom you guys in so you can see what's going on down here. Sorry about the lighting, guys. Like I said, it's a really crappy, nasty day. So I'll show you here. How it's going to go is basically like this. This piece is going to go flush to the top. I'm then going to mark this with my marker, and then take a tape measure and measure down and try and get center on this where my thumb is. So I'll just put that there. I got to grab the marker. And I'm just slowly picking away, trying to get things done. It's a little longer, and you got to kind of think about what you're doing when you're actually building stuff yourself, and stuff that'll last. So there's the mark. Okay, so I'll undo the marker. So I marked the, you can see that. I marked the 1 inch that I'm going to lose with the other piece flush, the horizontal piece. And so now I need to take a tape measure and get dead center in there, because that's what I want to do in order to, be able to fasten the holes properly. I don't want them all over the place. I want to kind of do things proper. So undo this. Hopefully you guys can see okay. Now what I want to do is kind of move the tape measure so I'm about half at the halfway point here. And then I want 1/2 inch, which will be right here. It should be dead nuts in the center of my piece. Now actually I can actually move that dot over a little bit. But that's basically center right here. I'll cross that one out, and I'll show you guys on camera, because you probably can't see what I'm doing. So I made the center mark, that one. I X'd out the original mark because it's over a little too far for my liking. You want it about there. that should be able to hold it, and then I can get in here still and work a work the nuts with a ratchet when that's ready. So now I got to pre-drill this and then drill it with a larger bit as well. So I'm going to set that up, and I'll be with you guys in just a minute. Alright guys, just setting my piece up here for drilling, and I needed some weight to hold this thing down, so I'm going to use the power pack because batteries are heavy and that just does the job perfectly. So I got my drill bit hooked up. I got a bag from Dollar Tree. They give me plenty of bags, so I'll be able to drill no problem, hopefully. And we'll see how this goes. So this is the spot I want. I'm gonna have to use the Dyson after, clean up, because the bag's not wide enough to catch everything. Okay, first hole done. Now, that hole obviously is not big enough, so I have to use this because we're putting bolts in here. We're not doing the screws, so I got to change my bit and go ahead with that. Okay, part two. Okay, definitely got to clean up. Okay, so I should grab my bolt to make sure that I'm good to go. You guys see this okay? Let me... There's the hole there. I'll grab the bolt, and that should tell you guys, and tell me, if I'm on the right track or not. Just gotta find it. Alright. Sorry about the light, guys. It's annoying when it does that. Okay. That's perfect. And that's what it will look like. So, obviously I'm going to have a washer on. And it's actually going through another piece. So, let's say about that much more will be taken up on this side. Definitely have a washer, and then washer and lock nut and nut on this side on the opposite end. But yeah, that's gonna work out just fine. And these are 3/4 inch long lengthwise and 1/4 inch diameter. So that turned out perfect. Now I can use this as a template. However, the way things are gonna go is I have to change. This hole will now be opposite to. Let me show you here. It's hard to explain. Okay, up we go. So we have my hole here, right? Here it is. This part is going to be up against the wall of the tiny house screwed in. My horizontal piece is going to come flush up to this. It's going to be locked in via bolt right where I just put the hole. Now, on the opposite side of the tiny house, this now changes where this is the flat piece. This section here, where my hand is, will be screwed to the tiny house on the opposite side of the tiny house. And then I have to put the hole on this side. However, to use this as a template, which I want to do, I have to reverse this, and I have to obviously reverse where the hole is going to be for each piece. So, kind of interesting. And let's see, I have to do that. 2 of these will be the same and 2 will be opposites, I believe. Yeah, that's how it goes. So I can make one of this, I can duplicate this one exactly, and then the other 2 I have to, they will be duplicates, but not of this type. They'll be on the hole will be on the opposite side, because everything's in reverse, okay? So I gotta work on that next, but now I can at least use this template, take my marker, put it through that hole, mark the hole, and then I have that as a template. And I'll save the other one as well. And then I can do all the vertical pieces like that. As long as I'm careful to keep track and not mess up, I should be good. I captured most of the aluminum pieces in that bag, and but I still gonna have to vacuum after, because there's always little specks of stuff and all that fun stuff. So that's where we're at now, guys. So I got to continue on doing the rest of the vertical pieces. The battery pack helped. It's sitting at 14. Here, I'll move you in. 14.0 volts. It's actually done well. Even though, if you guys remember, I did bring it down. I did a deep discharge with it the one time, but it hasn't hurt the battery as of yet, because this is a deep cycle battery, right? It's made to be taken down every once in a while. There it is, deep cycle battery. So this thing's been good, and like I say, once I get my solar panel up there, this thing is going to be permanently in the tiny house getting solar power. So I will have a power source full-time in the tiny house as long as the sun's shining, right? So that's going to be quite good. Because I got to tell you guys, it's annoying to bring this back and forth between the tiny house just for workouts. I got to admit that. But there you go. So that's it for now, guys, and we'll talk to you later. Okay, guys, I got the angle iron pre-drilled and ready for bolts when it's on site at the tiny house. I'll show you the 2 that I did. I did all 4, but these are the 2 I'll show you first. Now, these 2 obviously are going to be going on the opposite side. So one is going on, let's call it the right side of the tiny house. Okay, actually no, this is going on one side of the tiny house, and the flat end is going on the other. So actually no, it's like this. Let's see. Getting confused here. Hold on. let me take a look at the other ones. So that one's going across this way. That one's going across that way. And yeah, that's right. So, okay, one of these, see how the flat edges are different? So on this one is connecting to the tiny house on this by screwed on this side, and then this one is on the opposite side. No, that doesn't sound right. That's reversed, I think. So that one goes on that side, and this one goes on that side. That's better. I had these confused. These are pairs, so okay. So the flat side is screwed in on this side of the tiny house. This flat side is screwed in on that side, and these two are now paired together. So in between, they'll have the horizontal piece connecting between these two, and that should work. Okay, so those two are pairs, and then these two are pairs because the flat edges right there, flat edges, holes, those get screwed in the tiny house walls, and then the horizontal piece gets run across the top. So that's a pair. So it gets kind of tricky, as you can see, guys. You gotta be careful not to screw it up when it's screwed onto the tiny house, because then you'll have to end up taking stuff down. Holes won't line up, and so on and so forth. But I checked every hole. The bolt fits in just nicely. I'm not going to pre-drill the... Here's the hole. This is the side I'm going to drill into the tiny house. I'm not going to pre-drill these until I'm on site, just so that I have a better idea of how things are going to line up, because if I do them now and then things get crazy, can't really change that after the fact. So that's it for now on that.